one of the many supermarkets on the island. And in general, food is super expensive on the island, which makes sense because everything has to be imported with high import costs because it's an island. Fruits and vegetables in particular are really expensive, even though none of it is local. All of it is either from the US or South America or Europe, or for example in the case of oranges. I see oranges from South Africa being exported to Europe and from Europe being imported to Aruba, which is a long travel, which makes them super expensive, and the quality is not super good.
Across Europe, landscapes tell stories about rivers, soils and hands that have shaped our food for generations. We travel through these landscapes to meet the people behind our meals, the farmers, the makers, the dreamers and the new generation who reconnect us with the land we all depend on. Join us with our van, our kayak, feet, bike, train to meet the plains of the Po, Danube, Turia, Douro, from the sources via cascades to the delta. These are the Phito Stories. This is where we are. Finally, Phito Stories, an epic journey through Europe's landscapes where innovation meets traditions, every field has a voice.
Hello there, good morning, bon dia. This is Aruba, the Caribbean region.
So, where are we? Aruba, a country within the Kingdom of the Netherlands, is a small postcard-like island in the southern Caribbean Sea. More or less the same size as Brussels, but surrounded by turquoise Caribbean waters and white beaches. Behind that postcard is a vulnerable reality. The country's economic backbone is tourism. Millions of visitors arrive each year, and almost everything here is built around serving them. Also, Aruba produces very little of its own food. 95% of the food is being imported from countries far away. When tourism stopped during COVID, supply chain faltered, prices rose, and food security was suddenly at risk. Interestingly, a lot of the imported crops can be produced on the island.
And it's a very dry, semi-arid climate, meaning it's almost like a desert. But if you look closely, you do see mango, you do see some production of papaya or dragon fruits or lettuce or small-scale cash crops.
In this final episode of the season,
Phito has landed here
to explore all the agricultural activities on Aruba.
Good night. So, these months I'm staying here in Aruba, touring around on the island, meeting different people, because I came up with an idea. There was a police. That idea is based on some findings, some observations. I've seen big increase in the realization of food insecurity for the small islands like Aruba. A try by multiple partners to change that, to make Aruba less depending on food import, to also reduce the import bill. Decades ago, the whole idea of a farmer's market disappeared from the island completely, which is a pity because that is a place where farmers can meet, where farmers can collect, can share knowledge, but also can meet consumers, can meet tourism. That is very important here in Aruba. So my challenge is to organize a farmers market really around the produce of farmers. And I'm here another 2 months. It's very short. Try to get as many people as possible around the table regularly. Let's go.
We are focusing too much on one economy, which is the tourism, and we don't focus on being self-sufficient, helping ourselves with food. We have to compare Holland with Aruba. I would say Aruba has positive sides for growing than in Holland. In Aruba we can go 365 days a week, a day a year. Yeah, mix of soil and compost. it becomes soil, no? For tomatoes,
Yeah.
peppers in there.
Yeah.
Here I have cucumbers,
Yeah.
green pepper,
Yeah.
sweet peppers,
Yeah.
banana,
Yeah.
sweet potatoes,
Yeah.
passion fruit,
Yeah.
cashew.
Yeah. Yeah.
These are jambo,
Yeah.
these are
Yeah.
okra, the coconuts.
Yeah.
I try to use every inch of the house
Yeah.
also.
I was basically just there to nod yes, to confirm that I also see the potential on the island.
Yeah. Morning. It's 6 weeks remaining for the organizing the open market. Today I'm on my way to meeting multiple people, of course farmers. I'm continuing to meet all the farmers and also to invite them. So I have some interested farmers already, that's nice. If we have farmers on the market, we also need people on the market to visit and to buy the produce. First, I'm meeting them in a minute.
3 horas después.
So I have met Santa Rosa. They're very eager to join and they're supporting the idea. The embassy is also supporting the idea and of course the main partner, that's the Phito partner, United Farmers Aruba. United Farmers Aruba will of course assist in organizing things. There's loads of to-dos that I have to do, but I feel like 6 weeks left. There are some big bottlenecks like organizing the permissions. Of course, all the stalls, all the stands, the whole farm. Developed music should be there too. Let's see what we can organize in on this short time notice.
Alright, let Teun do his own thing. Oh well, that's me actually. In the meantime, we ask another farmer what his challenges are.
Koopkracht krijgen om producten samen te kunnen kopen. Op een manier dat ze betere prijzen krijgen. En het zal ook helpen bij iedereen, want iedereen hetzelfde probleem heeft.
Farming cooperations are quite new to the context in Aruba. There is a willingness though to exchange knowledge and buy products together.
Persoonlijk zou ik graag misschien zaden kunnen kopen, fertilizers.
By the way, Ari's co-worker caught this rattlesnake. Happy it didn't grab us at our feet, but for sure, the farmer gave us insights in his challenges, so I could continue searching for suitable locations for the food festival.
Demirror it. It says Aruba. Now, someone also pointed me at that getting a permission could take at least a month, which is simply too short for the preparation time that I have. So there's also an opportunity maybe to not organize it here, but organize it on private land. For example, at one of the rock formation areas.
Only positive reactions was what I got from people to join the food market. We even got screen time on local television. Okay, the location was still not clear, also still missing the permission, and I had some trouble finding the farmer stands. But then
Recognize the car of someone who is into installing, let's say, developing event materials and stuff. Ernesto, gezien? Ernesto? Ernesto?
Ernesto?
See?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. Just when I'm about to lose confidence and I'm thinking that I lost him, I have found him. He's there, indeed, deconstructing some of these stands. Mag ik ook vragen? Lekker aan het werk? Ja. Hey, ik kwam langsrijden. Ik ben bezig met het organiseren van een kleine boerenmarkt. Ja. En toen dacht ik van, doen jullie ook gewoon dat soort events? Van opbouwen van... Leuk. Ik laat het weten. Goed zo. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's really the best type of company to build stands. I took them.
And the ups and downs continue throughout the weeks. I'm spending a lot of energy. Are we getting somewhere? There are enough initiatives on the islands, eager for participation and change.
Here was to implement food gardens at primary schools for the students to explore and learn from. It's not the idea that the students are the farmers per se, because they're still young and they're developing, but giving them an opportunity to see that it is a possibility and that it is possible to grow food in a desert climate, and especially in a system like this where we focus on the soil, we focus on less water use, but still providing a lot.
While meeting farmers and inspiring individuals who also see the opportunity for Aruba to develop in agriculture, I also had to eat. So back to the supermarket again.
These oranges, probably either from the US or even I see them from South Africa. That is a long travel for an orange. Could be grown more close by as well. Oranges are maybe a bit difficult. It could be Trinidad or South America. But there's so much food that probably can be produced here as well. But what are the challenges that farmers have here? And would make so much more sense to produce it locally, also to make the island more resilient to climate change or to shocks like COVID.
Aruba decidió iniciar su frontera desde 17 de marzo debido a que están creciendo.
In COVID, we felt it when they closed everything, and and there was no way to get food, and we were saying why. Now I produce it myself, so it's like I'm doing like 1/10% in 3 years. God decided, to have some fruits for the cold. They can withstand the cold, and that needs the cold, and some that are tropical for the tropical season. So, don't say we cannot grow things.
Carried with this spirit, I kept pushing for the market. I spent already weeks chasing appointments that didn't exist.
Possible to talk to you?
Behind the initial enthusiasm and the Bonbini spirit, it was hard to really make it happen. Maybe I was too eager?
So I feel like maybe I give it a few more days until next week Wednesday, because then I have 2 or 3 more meetings. Let's hope next week Wednesday. Enjoy your night.
And in the end, unfortunately, I decided to cancel the farmers market idea.
I decided to only focus on the things that give me a lot of energy, so I'm meeting even more people, and I have a plan B. Just organizing our own Phito radio show on a small spot with some people that I met to talk about food security, to talk about what are the challenges and how can we really make a change in starting to produce food on Aruba. So let's change the topic of this Phito Stories a bit. No market, but a Phito radio show, yes. I'm now in Savaneta, one of the oldest villages of Aruba, which is close to the sea, so there's fisheries, but also it is quite old in terms of agriculture, so there's a lot of green vegetation. I see mango around me, I see papaya, I see all the type of crops. Savaneta has multiple places where you can have food, but it has one of the key places where local, like Arubans, go to have their food, to enjoy local food and enjoy fish, but also tourists go there. And I think that exactly feels like the heart of society, and I think that at this heart of society we should organize Phito Radio. So my plan is to organize Phito Radio on the pier, at the end of the pier of this restaurant.
After 2 months of trying to make something happen, I only needed an approval from the owner of the restaurant. Without any doubt, there was the sí I was searching for.
Met him, which is good, because he was super positive, super happy to have a venue, because now we can start to invite people and so on.
And luckily on my journey I met a lot of people along the way who showed me the energy, the willingness and the potential of producing food on Aruba.
We can zelf onze food produceren here. At least a couple of percentage, not 0%.
The work has already begun. What's missing is the connection. So we started by bringing people together. This is Phito Radio.
Welcome to the Phito Radio Show, where we rethink the future of farming.
A produção de comida mais sustentável é aqui da Phito, the radio show.
Well, here we are at this beautiful place with produce, with catch, people, discussions, as if the dialogue never disappeared. In this episode, we're diving into the theme of securing food security for Aruba. Okay, and why is agriculture important for the island? Why should it be more important, in your opinion?
Well, we import about 95% of our food. I strongly believe that we have a tendency to think that we cannot produce that much, but we have proofs already on the island. Several projects that have demonstrated that we are able to produce, we are able to lower our import stats, and we are able to produce good quality food.
And we know that Aruba is very much focusing on ramping up its own food production, right, as we are hearing around the table. We think that there are many opportunities in that regard. So the estimations range from 1 to 5% of local consumption that is produced here. You want to be more self-reliant. So I think that is something we're trying to help foster and facilitate. And we try to bring together Aruban and Dutch stakeholders to make that happen.
I met one farmer I met multiple farmers, but I want to quote one, and she was also saying something about the important role of VNO, or at least the role of the Kingdom of the Netherlands in agriculture in Aruba. Let's listen to it.
Listen to the farmers, listen to the farmers, listen to us, listen to the people, you know. We have expertise in Aruba. We have people that finished their degree in agriculture, the young people. We can do things together, you know, if we put our mind together.
If you look at the geopolitical situation around the world now, people should be concerned on all the islands, not only Aruba, but also the entire Caribbean, because even though that, there is the will, still the majority of the islands are still importing a lot.
Yeah.
So I think it's important for economic diversification to also develop other economic sectors. Given the number of people here, Aruba has 120,000 inhabitants and many millions of tourists visiting each year. It's very promising. The environment is very accommodating for agriculture, because we've seen through COVID that heavy dependence on tourism can be, somewhat dangerous in a way.
And did COVID had an effect in realization of people, or in changing the mindset regarding food production or agriculture in general? So potential do you see? What crops do you feel like we are importing it now, but that really doesn't make sense? We should produce them on our own island as well.
Mango is one of them, so I see a lot of mango trees. So
why is there not a mango producer yet?
I would also think that it's a problem with access to finance. So local banks are sometimes a bit risk averse, and they don't want to provide loans for people who want to go into agriculture, who want to expand. So that is something the Netherlands, for example, thinks we should look at and see whether we can play a positive role in that.
I've heard that people are in line to get your pindas even before they are from. You took them from the soil.
That's right. That's right.
Also, already this morning when we arrived here, I heard someone asking you, "Do you have the peanuts already?"
Yeah. They always ask me.
Yeah. That's wonderful.
When the peanuts finish, some people get angry. Not angry. Hey, where's my peanut? I forget, and so I have to note everything in a book.
Yeah.
So I never can forget them.
Great, you've been listening. Hope to see you in the next. This was
This is the secret where the magic happens.
It's nice, though.
Yeah, I met you. Hey.
Good morning.
Bon dia, good morning.
So actually what we do is we prepare our smoothies. We have recipes.
Yeah, so you have it.
We don't tell people our recipes. All of these are from my land.
Yeah.
From the farm. We put them in portions, and this is a portion for eating smoothie. You will eat this much of a melon.
Yeah. Okay, let's go. What's the order?
What's the order? 1 Trouble Crush and 1 Watermelon Sexy. We take the mango, passion, and pineapples.
Okay, really close. Yeah, I think so, right? And then in the meantime,
the other one. And it's also a skill to pour.
Okay.
So you try to pour the watermelon sexy, and I pour this.
16?
Yeah, 16, and then.
All right. Too little.
Welcome.